Welcome to Throttlage, and today we're going to talk about why motorcycle batteries die early in India and also a complete battery care guide. So let's start. What's frustrating is that many riders think the battery failed, but they don't. Our motorcycle batteries give us warning signs long before they die. So today we're going to talk about few topics as to what you can do. And some of them are summer battery care, winter battery care, long-term storage, common battery mistakes, how to make your batteries last longer when you're not using your motorcycle. Because easily replacing a battery, that's the easiest job that you can do. But preventing a battery failure, that's being smart. A motorcycle battery is one of the most overlooked component on any bike, and most riders don't think about it until the bike refuses to start. And today's modern motorcycles, they depend completely on the batteries more than ever. Today's motorcycles have TFT displays, Bluetooth connectivity, navigation, riding modes, and a lot of other gizmos that require a very healthy electrical system. And Indian weather doesn't make that life easier. Let's talk about summer battery problems. Many riders believe that winters are the worst enemy for a battery. But in India, even summers have a major role on how a battery functions, especially in cities like Delhi, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, and Gujarat, where the temperatures regularly cross 45 to 50 degrees on a very good summer day. Now, here's something important. Most modern motorcycles used a sealed AGM battery, and some older motorcycles, they still use a conventional lead acid battery. Excessive heat speeds up the natural aging process of both the batteries. In a conventional battery, high temperature can increase the water loss, which accelerates the deterioration if the electrolytes are not maintained inside the battery. In AGM batteries, you won't have any water loss because they are sealed, but prolonged excessive heat can result in the internal aging process of the battery, which can, in short, reduce the battery life. That's why a battery can seem perfectly fine during the summers, and the next week, it struggles to start. Heat doesn't just kill your battery overnight, it just reduces the lifespan slowly. Cold engine requires more effort to start. That means your battery is asked to do more while it's producing less. Now let's talk about something that most superbike owners or touring bike owners face. The bike sits idle for days, weeks, or even months. Many riders think, I'll just start the bike once and that'll be good enough. In reality, that's still better than keeping your bike untouched. Letting the motorcycle idle for about 15 to 20 minutes helps top up the battery charging process and keep it healthier during the period that you're not using the bikes. However, if possible, taking the bike out for a short spin will help even better. A ride allows the charging system to do the work in a very normal operating conditions. The drivetrain performs better, the engine oil is circulating, and the moisture buildup gets reduced. The more regularly you ride your bike, the more happy the battery will be. Winter creates a completely different challenge for motorcycles. Cold weather slows down the chemical reaction inside the battery. That means the battery produces less power. At exactly the same time, your engine needs more power to crank because the oil is thicker and the internal resistance is higher. That's where CCA comes in. CCA stands for cold cranking amps. It is a measure of how much current a battery can produce in a colder condition while still being able to start the engine. The colder it gets, the more CCA becomes important. Now imagine this, the battery inside this motorcycle is already 3 to 4 years old. The battery health has already reduced over time. Even if everything else on the motorcycle works perfectly fine, a weak battery with reduced cranking performance can struggle during winters. The starter motor turns slower, voltage drops faster, and modern motorcycles, they don't like unstable voltage. Flickering TFT display, like in this bike, it's not even flickering. Slow cranking, random warning lights, and hard starting. Winter doesn't always create a problem. It simply exposes a battery that's already weak. If you own a superbike or any touring machine or a modern motorcycle which sits idle for a long period of time, battery maintainer is something that you can invest in. A battery maintainer is not just a battery charger. It simply charges the battery when required. And once the battery is charged completely, it'll stop. Think of it as putting a battery on life support. Always charged, never overcharged, and always ready for your next ride. Now here's another mistake that surprisingly is common. Replacing your battery with the cheapest alternative that fits. Your motorcycle is designed specifically around a specific battery specification, which includes your voltage, amp hour charging, cold cranking amps. If you install a battery that's underpowered, your bike may start, but every time you crank the engine, the voltage can dip lower than the ECU expects, and that's where the problem begins. Modern motorcycles depend on stable voltage for systems like your TFT display, your navigation, TPMS, the aux accessories that you install on the bike, all of this. A weak or incorrect battery can cause problems like your TFT flickering, hard starting, communication error, and electronical failures. Sometimes riders think that the reason for all of this is ECU failure, but it's not the ECU, it's simply the wrong battery. Always replace your battery with the right specification which the manufacturer has provided for your motorcycle, which is designed for it. Don't use a cheap battery or a wrong sized battery for your motorcycle. Modern motorcycles have a lot of modern accessories that we ourselves install and that comes stock with the motorcycle. Auxiliary lights, heated grips, GPS units, camera mounts, dash cams, all of this drains a lot of voltage from your battery. Here's a simple habit that you as a rider can make. When you plan to turn off your motorcycle, once you reach your destination, switch all of these accessories off and then turn off the motorcycle. The next time you plan to start the bike, start the engine first. Let it sit idle for a minute or two, then turn on the accessories or lights, whatever you want to switch on. This way, the battery focuses all its power on starting the engine first. This is a small habit that will help reduce all the load that the battery takes when everything is switched on. Here's what every biker should do. Ride your bike regularly. If you want to park your bike for a long period, at least start the bike once a week or take it out for a short spin. Keep your bike terminals clean and tight. If you want to change your battery, change it based on the battery specification that is recommended by your motorcycle manufacturer. Never compromise on CCA or battery capacity. Switch off your motorcycle accessories before you turn off your motorcycle. When you start the motorcycle, turn the engine on, let it sit idle for a minute or two, and then turn on the accessories. You can use a battery maintainer if you park your motorcycle for a long period of time, which is highly recommended. Check your charging voltage during your service intervals as well. Don't ignore slower starting symptoms. Most battery failures don't happen overnight. The truth is, your battery doesn't care if you ride a most expensive motorcycle or normal commuting motorcycle. Even if it's a tourer, a superbike, a commuter, the fundamental remains the same. A healthy battery definitely provides you with a reliable start, less stress, happy electronics, and happy ECU, and far few surprises. A good battery maintenance absolutely costs nothing, but if you ignore them, it'll leave you stranded. Now, how old is your motorcycle, or how old of a battery you have used on your motorcycle? You can let us know in the comments. And if you find this video useful, do follow us, like, share, and subscribe. More such educational content is going to come soon.